Today we will be reading Adventures at Scout Camp. We're first going to go over our target vocabulary words. I will say, then you will say back to me. I say attention, you say. I say buddy, you say. I say enormous, you say. I say obeys, you say. I say safety, you say. I say shocked, you say. I say speech, you say. I say station, you say. Today we are going to be reading Adventures at Scout Camp. As we listen to our story, I would like you to listen and pay close attention. There's one of our words right there, attention, for any of our target vocabulary words. When you hear them, I want you to shout them back at me. Let me hear you all the way in my classroom. As we read, I also want us to stop and think like a good reader does about what is happening in our story. I will be stopping along the way and asking questions that I really want you to think hard about to be able to answer. We're not just guessing at answers, and when we're giving typed out responses, we should be using text evidence, meaning information we heard from the text. All right, my friends, put those good listening ears on. Here we go, Adventures at Scout Camp. When Jack and Quincy went to Scout Camp together, they had no idea what was in store for them. On their first day, everybody got together in the lodge. All the kids were a bit rowdy, so the camp director had to get their attention. Then she gave a speech about campers helping each other and staying safe. She announced, "There are safety tips posted all around. I want to make sure that everyone obeys the rules. You'll need to have a buddy everywhere you go. It's important for everyone to stay safe at Scout Camp, so I expect all of you to cooperate." As a deaf person, Quincy always communicated by reading people's lips and using his hands to do sign language. That evening, counselors told stories around the campfire. Quincy read the counselors' lips. Then he interpreted their stories in sign language for other campers who were interested in learning. The more time kids spent with Quincy, the easier it was for them to learn the signs. One day, Quincy and Jack decided to do the challenge hike. They had walked a bit ahead of the counselors and were working hard to make their way up an enormous hill. Out of breath, Jack decided to climb out on a rock shelf to rest. That was a big mistake. Before he knew what was happening, the rock broke free and sent him falling. When he landed, he felt a horrible pain. Jack looked down and saw that his leg was broken. He was shocked by the sight of it. Quincy was crouched above him, his face as pale as Jack's. Thanks to all the signing practice, Jack was able to understand when Quincy signed that he was going for help. The counselors were able to understand Quincy when he signed what happened. This meant they could bring the proper rescue equipment to get Jack to safety. It wasn't long before Jack was resting in a hospital bed. Quincy was there keeping Jack company while the nurse prepared an ice pack from her station just outside his room. Even though Jack was tired and sore, he still managed to give a small smile. "Thank you," he told Quincy in sign language and squeezed his friend's hand. Can you think back to our stories last week about Helen Keller and all of the partner stories we read with it about tools for helping people who might be blind or deaf? What connections can you make between Adventures at Scout Camp and what we read last week? What are your thoughts on this? Take a few minutes to think and then move on to the next slide to try out your words and see how much you know.